They tell you that modern society is free, advanced, and enlightened, but look closer and you will see the same old chains wrapped in new names. The skyscrapers may be taller, the machines faster, the technology brighter, but the struggle remains the same. A few control the wealth, while the many struggle to survive. You wake up each morning thinking you are making choices, but most of your choices are already made for you, by corporations, by governments, by a system designed to keep you running but never arriving. Karl Marx's secret was simple yet dangerous: to understand society, you must follow the trail of money and power. Who owns, who works, who profits, and who pays the price? Once you ask these questions, the illusion of freedom begins to fade, and the truth of exploitation becomes clear. Marx was not just speaking about the 19th century, he was speaking about today, about us, about the invisible forces shaping your life right now. Modern society looks free, but its chains are only hidden behind wealth and technology. At first glance, it seems as though humanity has advanced beyond the struggles of the past. We have skyscrapers, digital networks, artificial intelligence, and machines that can do the work of thousands. We walk through brightly lit streets connected across the world, convinced that progress has liberated us. But if you pause, if you look beneath the surface, you will see the truth: the chains have not been broken, they have only been disguised. The same struggle between those who own and those who labor, between the wealthy and the working class, remains alive. It is the same war Marx described more than a century ago, only now hidden behind the glittering mask of modernity. You are told that you are free because you can choose your job, your purchases, your lifestyle. But how free are you when each choice is controlled by money? You do not wake up each morning to live your dream. You wake up to serve the demands of bills, loans, and wages that vanish as quickly as they arrive. The worker in the 19th century gave his sweat to the factory. Today, the worker gives his mind, his time, his very attention to corporations that profit from every second of his existence. The factory walls may have transformed into glass offices and digital screens, but the essence remains: your labor is consumed, your life is measured, your energy is extracted. Technology, too, has been weaponized in this system. We are told that technology liberates us, that it saves time, that it expands possibilities. And yet for the majority, technology does not create freedom. It creates aids, surveillance, dependency, and distraction. You are tracked in your purchases, your habits, your conversations. Algorithms decide what you see, what you desire, even what you believe. The same tool that could free humanity has been seized by the same powers that profit from your labor. It does not liberate you. It binds you more tightly because you cannot escape what you do not see. Marx's vision was not limited to his time. He understood that as wealth concentrates, so does power. Modern society has perfected this process. The richest corporations control governments, shape culture, and dictate the very structure of your daily life. They convince you that your individuality matters, that your voice is free, but every path you walk has been built to serve their interest. You scroll through endless advertisements disguised as entertainment, your desires molded not by your own will, but by the profits of those above you. And what of wealth? The richest individuals of this age hold fortunes greater than entire nations. They travel in private jets, build cities in the sky, dream of colonizing, while millions at the bottom struggle for food, housing, and dignity. This is not freedom. This is the sharpening of the same division Marx revealed: the owners and the workers, the rulers and the ruled. The tools have changed, but the system has not. Modern society teaches you to believe that struggle is your own fault, that if you just work harder, study more, hustle longer, you will achieve freedom. But this is the greatest deception. It keeps you blaming yourself while never questioning the system that feeds on your labor. They give you small victories, promotions, gadgets, distractions to convince you that progress is real. But look closely. Are you truly free, or simply more comfortable in your chains? This is why Marx's secret remains powerful. The chains of modern society are not gone, they are invisible. And invisible chains are the hardest to break because most never realize they are bound at all. The world you see as progress may in truth be the most sophisticated prison humanity has ever known, one where the prisoners guard their own cells and call their servitude freedom. Karl Marx's secret is this: to understand society, follow the trail of money and power. Every institution you see, every law you obey, every cultural value you inherit, beneath it lies an economic truth: who owns, who controls, who profits. The answers to these questions reveal more about freedom and oppression than any speech about democracy or progress ever could. From the schools that shape your mind to the jobs that consume your time, money and power are the invisible architects of your reality. They dictate the boundaries of your choices while making you believe those choices are your own. Look at the structure of modern society. The wealthy elite own corporations, interested in technologies that shape the very way you live. They own the media that tells you what to think, the advertisements that tell you what to want, the banks that hold your debts, and the governments that write the rules in their favor. And yet, you are told this is a free society where everyone has equal opportunity. But how equal can opportunity be when some are born into palaces and others into poverty? How free is a worker when survival depends on selling their labor to the very people who profit from their struggle? Marx's insight was that economics is not neutral. It is power disguised as necessity. The rich do not simply have more money, they have the ability to shape the world in ways that keep their wealth secure. They decide wages, influence laws, and even control the narratives of success and failure. The system convinces you that if you fail, it is your fault, your lack of effort, your lack of intelligence, your lack of ambition. But in truth, the game is rigged from the beginning. The rules are written so that the few always win and the many always compete for scraps. Consider the workplace. You wake up each morning, give hours of your life to an employer, and in return receive wages just enough to keep you returning. The value you create flows upward, enriching shareholders and executives who may never step into your building, who may never know your name. Yet they own the fruits of your labor. They hold the power, not because they work harder, but because the system places ownership above effort. Marx warned us those who own the means of production control society. And today, those means are not only factories and machines, they are data, technology, and information itself. The trail of money also reveals the truth about politics. Leaders promise change, yet policies consistently serve the wealthy. Why? Because campaigns are funded by corporations and debts of power must be repaid. Behind every politician's smile lies the shadow of money. Behind every law passed in the name of the people lies the influence of those who profit from it. And so democracy becomes theater, a show to convince you that your voice matters, while real decisions are made in boardrooms you will never enter. Even culture is shaped by this trail. The music you hear, the movies you watch, the trends you follow. Most are funded, produced, and distributed by the same handful of corporations. They decide what stories are told, which values are celebrated, and which truths are silenced. And you, believing you are free in your tastes, are in fact consuming what has been chosen for you. This is how power maintains itself, not through force alone, but through shaping your very perception of reality. Marx's secret is not merely a theory, it is a weapon of clarity. When you begin to follow the trail of money and power, illusions fall away. You begin to see that society is not a natural order, but a constructed system designed to benefit the few. You begin to understand why inequality persists despite progress, why exhaustion remains despite technology, why poverty exists despite abundance. The answers are not found in morality or luck, but in power. Who controls resources? Who decides distribution? Who writes the rules? These are the real questions that define your life. And once you see this, you can no longer be deceived by slogans, by empty promises, or by the illusion of choice. You begin to realize that freedom is not found within the system. It is found in the courage to question it, to expose it, to demand a reality where wealth and power do not dictate the worth of a human life. Every advertisement, every paycheck, every debt is designed to keep you chasing what you will never truly own. This is the essence of modern society, to create the illusion of progress while ensuring that real liberation remains out of reach. You are told to believe that happiness lies just beyond the next purchase, that freedom is waiting at the end of the next promotion, that security comes with the next loan you sign. But each step forward is only another step deeper into a system that feeds on your pursuit. It is a race without a finish line, a hunger that can never be satisfied, because it was never meant to be satisfied. Karl Marx uncovered this truth long ago. He showed us that capitalism thrives not by giving you what you want, but by convincing you that you are always lacking. Desire is manufactured, dissatisfaction is cultivated, and your life becomes an endless cycle of chasing fulfillment that remains forever out of reach. The product you buy today becomes obsolete tomorrow. The debt you take on to achieve comfort becomes the burden that ties you down for decades. The wages you earn vanish into bills, rent, and expenses before you can even. You are never free, breathy, because freedom does not come from the system, it is stolen by it. Think about debt, one of the sharpest tools of control. You are told it is opportunity. Education loans to secure your future, mortgages to own your dream home, credit cards to enjoy life now and pay later. But debt is not opportunity, it is dependency. It ensures that your labor is locked to the system, that your choices are limited, that your future is already mortgaged before it arrives. Debt ensures obedience, because a worker drowning in payments has no strength to resist, no space to dream, no power to walk away. And what about the paycheck? It is presented as your reward, but in reality, it is your chain. You trade the best hours of your life for wages that barely sustain your needs. The wealth you create flows upward into the pockets of the powerful, while you are left with just enough to survive and return the next day. The system calculates carefully: too little and you ribble, too much and you escape. So it gives you exactly enough to keep you alive, but never enough to make you free. Advertisements are the other weapon. They do not simply sell products, They sell identities, desires, and they convince you that without this brand, this device, this lifestyle, you are incomplete. They whisper into your mind that freedom is a purchase away, that self-worth can be bought, that happiness comes with a receipt. And so you chase because you believe you are choosing when in truth you are being led. This is how modern capitalism perfects control. It does not imprison you with visible chains, it imprisons you with invisible ones. Chains of desire, depth, and dependency. You believe you are running towards success, but you are only running on a treadmill designed to exhaust you. You work, you consume, you repeat. The system thrives not by liberating you, but by keeping you endlessly chasing freedom you will never touch. Marx warned us that exploitation is hidden behind opportunity, and in America this truth is sharper than ever. Here, the dream itself is commodified. Education is sold, healthcare is sold, even dignity is sold. You are told that owning more makes you more, but ownership is an illusion. The bank owns your home, the lender owns your car, the corporation owns your time, and the system owns your future. What you call ownership is in reality another form of servitude. And yet, the moment you see this illusion, the moment you recognize that every advertisement, every paycheck, every debt is designed not to free you, but to bind you, something begins to change. The chains are still there, but now you can see them. And once you see them, you have already taken the first step toward breaking them. Karl Marx was right: wealth creates power, and power rules you. This is not simply a theory, it is the foundation of modern society. Everywhere you look, wealth is not just money. It is influence, control, and the silent force that dictates how you live. Those who possess wealth shape the laws, the markets, the education system, even the culture you consume. They stand above not because of merit, but because of ownership, and through that ownership they rule without needing to appear as rulers. Their power does not always wear a crown or carry a sword. It hides behind institutions, contracts, and illusions of choice. Think about how laws are created. They are written not by the common worker, but by politicians funded by the wealthy. Campaigns are financed by corporations and elites, and the favors bought during those campaigns are repaid in the form of legislation. The result is a legal system that protects property before it protects people, profits before it protects lives. And yet, you are told these laws serve everyone equally. But Marx revealed the truth: the state is not neutral. It is an instrument of the ruling class. It enforces the interests of those with wealth, punishing those who resist, and disguising its bias under the banner of justice. Wealth also decides who gets heard and who gets silenced. Media corporations, owned by the powerful, determine which stories reach you, which truths remain hidden, which voices are amplified, and which are erased. You believe you are informed, but in reality you are being managed. Narratives are crafted to protect wealth and its authority. Poverty is shown as personal failure rather than systemic design. Workers' struggles are hidden behind distractions of celebrity and scandal. The powerful need not shout, they simply control the stage on which everyone else speaks. In the economy, the power of wealth is even clearer. Workers create value, but that value is captured by those who own the means of production. A CEO earns in a day what a worker may never earn in a year, not because the CEO works harder, but because the system rewards ownership over labor. Marx warned that this inequality was not an accident, but a feature. Capitalism thrives by concentrating wealth in fewer hands, while spreading struggle among the many. And as wealth concentrates, power follows. The rich buy influence, bend markets, and shape futures, while the worker's voice is drowned out beneath the weight of survival. Even culture itself is ruled by wealth. From the movies you watch, the music you hear, to the platforms you use, nearly everything you consume is owned and distributed by a handful of corporations. They do not simply sell you entertainment. They shape your desires, your values, even your perception of reality. When wealth controls culture, it controls thought. And when it controls thought, it no longer needs to use force. You willingly become part of the system that exploits you, believing it to be free. America prides itself on being a democracy, but how democratic can a society be when wealth decides who can run for office, what policies are passed, and which voices are allowed to be heard? Real power does not sit in ballots alone. It sits in boardrooms, in banks, in corporations, where decisions are made that affect millions without their consent. This is the hidden truth. Wealth creates a ruling class, and that class rules you whether you recognize it or not. Karl Marx was right because he stripped away the illusions and revealed that beneath every institution lies the hand of wealth. Beneath every promise of freedom lies the reality of power. Wealth is not neutral, and it is never passive. It grows, it spreads, it dominates, and as it grows, so does its authority over your choices, your opportunities, your very sense of possibility. To understand society is to understand this truth. The more unequal the world, the less free the people.